Y'all, I was about to say that because you know y'all both from the territory area, and gang, you and I kind of talked about that when you called me or I was reached out to you. We were talking, we weren't recording. Back in that day, talk about it, man. You worked. If you didn't work, you didn't get paid, right? You weren't out there at all costs. You worked injured. I mean, what'd you tell me, Rod? 6 days, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday.
That's right.
Well, speak up, Hardway. Say something.
Well, I'm just getting in here, you know, if you would shut up for a minute, please. Heard about your hurt leg. Jeez.
You sitting over there with your broke back and all that. You ain't got no broke back.
You could have put Van Dam over. You just knocked out. He was just knock your eyes back around.
He did get the 1, 2, 3, but he got it on an unconscious person.
Mike, back to your question. Yeah, man. I mean, all of us went out. We all had stings and bangs because you don't work, you don't get paid. So everybody sucked it up. I mean, I think you can contribute a lot of these fatalities to our fallen warriors from maybe partaking too much to go out, you know. And then, you know, it's one thing to be out in the ring, but what goes up must come down eventually.
Exactly. I agree with that. My back in Mid-South days with Cowboy Bill Watts, it was a known thing that everybody would always say this. It didn't matter what happened, you better make that show. It didn't matter if you was in a car wreck or whatever. You crawl to get to that show. If you get killed coming to the show, bring your dead body in there and let somebody get a pinfall on it. That's exactly what they really, you know, they honestly believe that too.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just the way it was. I mean, once you advertised and you had these shows going, it was back in the day, you know, it was hot business. Shows were sold out. I mean, of course, you want your talent there. You don't want them, you know, lost somewhere. You got to have talent at the show. So, you know, Bill was just strict that way. And you know,
it makes sense. I mean, you got hot storylines going on. You got the talent's got to be there. I mean, you were talking about Akbar when you and I were talking offline, and you were saying how, you know, when I was telling you about, man, the territory days are so great just from a fan perspective, you were like, man, them people, Rod worked with them too, that people they wanted Akbar dead in that era. That wasn't heat, that was real. The people were, kill that son of a gun. We hate him. Oh, it was real. Like, well, gang, you told me the story about y'all would literally have the car running with the bags packed in the car. That way, when y'all walked back, y'all didn't even have to go grab your bags. You just went straight to the car.
Exactly.
To get out of there.
Yeah, we had to, or we get trapped in the building. You know, just about every show you go to, them old, you know, I ain't saying nothing bad about police or anything, but most times these police just wouldn't really help you out because they're local guys. You know, they don't want to.
Right.
You know, they don't want to make themselves look bad in front of their hometown people. I mean, so they would be okay usually from the ring to, you know, get to the back area. But once you got to that back area, they just suddenly disappeared. They just was nowhere around. So when we leave the buildings in the back areas, you might have 100, 200 people back there with no security, you know, and you got to get to your vehicle and get out of that place. And they'd be beating on your car and spitting on you and throwing stuff at you. You know? It was just every night that way. So, you know, we would, you know, if we were in the main event, if you were semi-main or even then, sometimes you had to get out fast. You just missed your shower just to get it going out. But
right.
But if you was that main event match, you know, a lot of times we just have our stuff in the vehicle, and my wife Mary would be there, and she would have it running, ready to go, and we'd head straight on out, don't stop for anything, and get on out the door and jump in our vehicles, and we had to take off, man. And people was crazy.
They still are.
Still are.
Different way.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the heat. Yeah, the heat now, it's a little different. It's more geared towards, you know, they're mad about it.
Yeah. Now, nobody gets mad about anything. It's just entertainment. Yeah. Everybody knows it's entertainment. I don't care who you are. The kid in elementary school now knows it's entertainment.
Absolutely. He can tell you the whole history.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You can type anybody's name in on the internet now. You know their real names and everything about, what they like to eat, and how can you be a heel, a real true heel, and everybody knows everything about you. I mean, in our days, nobody knew us. We were heels. We had a mystique about us. You didn't know if we'd grab you up by the throat or what. People just didn't know.
Which helped out.
I agree
too.
What's that, Rod?
That helped out with our safety too, with that mystique that Gang was talking about, because like you said, people didn't know what you were going to do to them. So with that mystique, it kind of helped with your safety, with the intimidation factor, where you could go into some places and it was a bubbling crowd where they were saying some stuff, but it could have turned worse if we didn't have the mystique and the heel factor of, hey, these guys were known bad guys kicking tail everywhere, and they people didn't want to come up to you. They were very shy, very timid at coming up to you, and that's the way it was supposed to be.
Exactly.
Well, I can only imagine, because, Gang, you were in world class, and then so I know just living in that hot box, not literally hot box, but the heat that was generated there. And then, Rod, when you first went there, didn't you, part of the story, you jumped Kerry. So y'all probably had to deal with some heat back in the day, especially in Akbar's stable, dealing with fans that just want to kill y'all.
Well,
I can only imagine that. That's right. I'm sorry, Gang.
Akbar was always on the Louisiana side.
Yeah. That's right.
He did work world class, but when he came over there, he would bring Kamala, and I was with Gary Hart, so me and Kamala would be matched up against each other at some of the bigger shows, the holiday shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Against each other, not as a teammate, but against each other, because Gary Hart and Akbar had kind of a little heat, not a shoot heat factor, but fans thought there was something between them. So Akbar would bring Kamala, and Gary Hart had me, so that was you set up for a match right there.
Right. But with Von Erich, it was, and I say this with all, if they could have gone to the house shows, if they would have made the house shows, we had some heat that we were building on, and then, Kerry would no show. You wouldn't see him for 2 days. He'd be out doping.
Yeah.
So, it was a good thing and had the possibility of being really something good. But, you got to remember, and then they put me with Kevin. They'd bring in Kevin if Kerry no showed. And that was another ECW night, man. You never knew what you were going to get.
I've been easier bar fights than wrestle him.
It's funny y'all say that, because when I had Rod, thanks for hooking me up with James. When James was on the show, James was, I had mentioned that to him, that I had actually heard Kevin talk about some of his matches with Chris Adams, and I remember some of those matches. They looked brutal, and I told James, I said, man, Kevin and Chris killed each other in some of those matches, and James said, well, Kevin really thought it was a shoot. He didn't say exactly that, but he was like, he really went in there and laid it in. And it's funny when y'all just said that about Kevin. That's what it made me think of when James was telling me that story. He goes, he got in there, and him and Chris, they went at it. It was no holds barred, so to say.
Yeah, you had to. If you didn't, they'd eat you up. You wouldn't have a chance. If you just let them get away with it, they'd just eat you up alive. You'd just be like a job guy, basically. But if you fall back with them, you was good. But if you didn't fight back, they'd eat you up. If he hit you in the mouth, you better hit him right back in the mouth. That's just what it was.
Yeah, I hear you. They were notorious for getting all their stuff in, and then, all right, let's go home,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Saying,
Kerry wasn't quite as bad, I'll admit that, but Kevin, man, he was just crazy. He just didn't have no regard for your body at all.
No.
He would, drop kick you, and just basically, your teeth would be loose after he drop kicked you. But, for me, it was good, because I come from that, from Mid-South and all that, so he'd do that to me. I'd jump up and just pound the heck out of him, you know.
Right.
So I guess, you know, after a while he just, you know, it was good, tight, stiff matches, strong style, I guess they call it nowadays. But I liked it. A lot of guys didn't, you know. A lot of guys don't like that. But as long as you're not hurting my knees or, you know,
Right.
stuff that's really going to put me out of the business, you know, I can take a shot in the face or something. I don't mind coming out with a black eye or whatever back in those days. But a lot of guys didn't like it at all. So I guess that's why, you know, I kind of fitted in real well and really had some good, you know, made some decent money with them guys.
And it was a fight. I got a $50 bonus for keeping Kevin in a 15-minute match.
I really liked the world class area. I really liked it a lot. Travel really wasn't too bad. Was all, you know, except for when you had to go down to West Texas or whatever. But you know, you'd catch that old flight jet thing out of Dallas there. But all the travel was pretty much right in that area. You didn't really go too far, even during the week when we just do spot shows, house shows, or whatever. It didn't have to travel too far. But like I said,
right
even then, the crowd was still crazy because it was just all Von Erich country.
Yep. If
you didn't have to.
Von Erich was in there. If they were on the show and in the building, it was a good night.
Right, exactly.
The crowd was there. You know, it was good for everybody. But
right.
when
like Rod said, is if Kerry could make the show and if he showed up in a good condition to actually work.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen him make the building, but that was about it.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot of times. One of the times that really sticks in my mind, like you say, I hate saying things about somebody that's no longer around or whatever, but I mean, it's just a fact. This happened, and you know, I just happened to be there to see it. So, what the heck?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Kerry we was in Fort Worth, and Kerry had a match against Ric Flair for the title. So all the matches go through, and everything's ready for Kerry's match, and nobody can find Kerry because nobody knows where he's at. Flair's getting, you know, on his way out to the ring, and everybody's like, man, where's Kerry at? You know, and so come to find out, he ain't even got his boots on yet. He's out in the back parking lot. Well, I don't know what the heck he's doing out there, but he's out in the back parking lot. You can see he ain't right. So he comes running in there. He grabs his boots and he throws his boots on. Don't even half lace them up. Makes his way to the ring, and then during the commentary when they show it back, you know, back on TV or whatever, old Bill Mercer's trying to cover it up, going, Kerry Von Erich, he had a flu that night. He had a temperature of 102 degrees, and you know, so he's out there with his boots unlaced, and wrestling tights ain't even fixed right or nothing. You know, it's just horrible.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on, man, you in there with the world champion, sold out, jam packed to the rafters. You can't be prepared for that. Come on, man.
Really.
That's just pill.
Yeah. Go ahead, Rod. You would say something?
That's what contributed, you know, the fast fall. Because of the Von Erichs, no showing territories, no showing these little house shows, just burned them out. I mean, it was.
I just don't understand I mean, maybe they were in that much pain that they had to do these things to feel good. I don't know. I'm just saying, man, we'd take flights on, you know, to go to West Texas or whatever, and they literally couldn't walk off the airplane. I've seen Kerry, you know, and they would basically, the guys would have to carry him off the airplane. He'd be so bad, you know, in such bad shape. Right. It was just pitiful. I mean, here you are, you're the Hulk Hogan of world class. This is Kerry Von Erich, you know, and here he is, can't even walk off an airplane, just muttering to himself, you know, drooling and all. It was just sickening, you know.
Yep. Man, you know what's crazy? Nowadays, man, you wouldn't be able to hide that at all. I mean, with social media.
Nowadays, they got that wellness stuff. You'd be gone in a second. Unless you may be one of the major, you know, headliners, you know, but most guys would be gone in a second if it happened nowadays.
Oh. But even with that though, with Facebook and Twitter and everything, man, people would be taking pictures. And
Split's gonna fire his son. Come on.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Kerry was basically what world class was. Yeah, you had Kevin and the other boys, but Kerry basically was the main star of world-class wrestling.
Yep.
Now, gang, were you there when David was still alive?
No, I wasn't. Because I came in after that. I was on the memorial shows and stuff they did for him. I wasn't there then, but I've heard that he was really, a really good worker.
Yeah, I would say David was a lot better than Kerry at all. He was really the.
Well, I was there when they started putting the youngster in there. Even Chris, I was there when they was making him get in the ring and trying to do angles with him, and he was just a youngster, We out there having to take bumps for a darn 15-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Man. You can't. I mean, he's another Von Erich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out there taking bumps for him, and he's sorry to say again, but Chris was living the life of Kerry.
He was falling right in his footsteps. But anyway,
Rod, you told me that
we need to just change it because we're talking about people.
I
just hate having them that way. They were nice people. I did real well there, but that was just part of them, And I just hate that it ended up the way it ended up for them.